Hi, welcome to a new episode of Track and Talk. This is our channel where we keep track on how IoT can help you to make all your assets visible, from a small box to a giant container, indoor and outdoor. I'm Pieter Jan, Marketing Manager at Sensolus, and I'm joined again by Christophe, our CEO at Sensolus.
Thank you.
Not your first time at the show.
No.
Today we'll talk about asset tracking in aerospace. And before we dive into that topic, I would like to hear what is your personal background in aerospace.
Good question, and there is some story behind that.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm actually graduated from university with a finance degree, but it was not me, you know. And so I was lucky because I could actually do a second education, and I chosen the aerospace aerodynamics, which I did in Delft in the Netherlands. So another 5 years, pure engineering, die-hard focus aerospace. And it brought me actually to offshore wind, from offshore wind developments because aerodynamics so important. I went to the Antarctic region to build an Antarctic station. Also a lot with aerospace things because it was very cold. So it was about aerodynamics, solar panels, energy constraints, everything. And then suddenly went into Sensolus, and we end up again in the aerospace. So yeah, it just sticks with me, I don't know.
A full circle moment somehow.
Yeah,
Okay.
somehow it is.
All right, so today we'll talk about asset tracking in aerospace. First, I suggest to focus on the challenges, the trends we see in aerospace.
Yeah.
Next, what is asset tracking in aerospace? And then finish with Airbus. It's a client for more than 10 years now, and I think it's a very nice case to be highlighted. Now, let us start with the trends and the challenges in aerospace today, because a lot of things are changing in aerospace as we speak.
Yeah, so first of all, it's a very big market. If you look at it, total market today, 800, 900 billion globally. And it's actually projected to grow to 1,500 billion in 2032. So it shows this is a huge market. Also important, and even we already see a lot of commercial airplanes and stuff like that, they actually have a huge backlog.
How much?
Today, if I'm not wrong, it's close to 18,000 aircrafts.
Imagine that. Yeah.
That's a backlog of 10 years. An order book spread out over all the big guys who can actually build the airplanes. So if you think about it, it's actually like a guaranteed pipeline of airplanes that need to be delivered out there. But you can also imagine that comes with every airplane has like 1 million parts. So then all the numbers start to work together. Then you have a huge supply chain. It's incredible. So you have to have from everywhere parts, from all type of materials. And what a lot of people actually forget is also that materials are changing. The way before it was riveted, then it became glued airplanes. The type of materials, the use of carbon fibers, special alloys like aluminum alloys. And that means that on sub-level, there's a lot of scarcity. There are lead times up to 2 or even 3 years on single components. So it's a huge complex puzzle where we are in. And then maybe what we also see in that aerospace, it's ramping up. So it means you need to invest a lot in capacity, but it takes time. And also having the people, the skilled people to do this job, to build an airplane, it's so hard to find them, to keep them, to train them, to grow those teams. So it's a very complex puzzle where everything's come together. And what we see, because in those challenges where we are, when everything comes together, it's really like physically boxes, parts, and they are everywhere. Mm-hmm. And they all have to be there at the right time with the right specifications, regulations to be assembled in something that transports people and goods all over the world for many years. So the supply chain, it's crazy if you look at it. And it's a very interesting thing. It's very complex.
All right. Now, if we zoom into the asset tracking possibilities within aerospace, because I hear you saying a lot of shortage in personnel. I mean, that can be fixed with automation, operational efficiency, but how does asset tracking plays a role in these challenges?
Yeah, well, first it's a bit the obvious thing, like in any industrial manufacturing, is visibility. I mean, those things, they can be everywhere. of course, there are systems in place and there are quite clear logs where they should be.
Yeah.
But the reality is dynamic, and it means sometimes they are misplaced and you have to find them back. Simple things like that. But also, you work with different suppliers. You work with OEMs, work with tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 suppliers, different countries. So you have all this type of hiccups in those processes. Uncontrolled things, customs, for example, where you need to have some visibility because they impact actually your whole supply chain, your process. What we also see in that visibility category is rotation times, cycling times. A part needs sub-processing. For example, the part is built, but then it needs a specific sintering or painting process. It goes to another location, gets that cycling, that processing time, it comes back. Every little thing you can win there, it's a huge impact in your total supply chain.
Okay.
And then don't forget, mostly in those processes, you create buffer stocks. Yeah. So you have some extras. But if you're running with 10 years of backlog, you actually don't want to have a lot of buffer stocks. Yeah. So it's everywhere pinching down little small things to get a full optimal chain. So that's big part number one. The staff you mentioned already, people are trained to do their job. They are very highly skilled labor in aerospace. You don't want them looking for parts. Yeah. You want them to do their job, get into the assembly, do what they need to do, but now often they are just spending time on the wrong things. Yeah. And this is something where technology helps a lot. It's typically where we help a lot, creating that reduction of search time, for example. Traceability is also a very important thing in aerospace industry, because if things go wrong, and let's be very open, fortunately, it's so controlled that the statistics actually show not a lot of things are going wrong. Yeah. But that means you have to push that through from the first step in your design process till the final assembly, certification program, everything. So every tool used, every part used, every person being nearby that assembly is tracked. Yeah. So there also, it's technology enabling that all those regulations, those logbooks are actually automated, are available. And this is really a big change in efficiency of building and pumping up the volumes and the capacity. And then, this is what we see, it's very dynamic in the geopolitical world where we are today. There are many unexpected changes. There are maritime transports who get disrupted. There are regulations which are changing. Those things are often multimodal. So we explained in another session already, it's about not only from A to B with a truck, but an engine of an aircraft that even doesn't fit a truck. So it's special transport, it's air transport, maritime transport, and it all has to come together. And not to forget, if there's something happening and things go wrong in transport, something gets a shock. Yep. Well, you better know it before it arrives. You want to know it during your transport. So all those little things come together in the technology that we provide. Yep. The last thing I want to mention there is AI. We all heard that word so much. And it's very clear. We know how it works. If you have, imagine, the perfect database set and you put AI tools on top, it will tell you, you can optimize here, you can do that, you can do this, here is something. We all have seen that power already today.
What's missing today then?
Reliable data. Because AI can only be as strong as the data feeding it. And this is really where that visibility and reliability is key in those supply chains. Otherwise, there's a wrong insight, wrong decision.
Okay. Let's make it very concrete with Airbus. Yeah. We've been working with Airbus for more than 10 years. It must be almost one of the longest partnerships in IoT within the aerospace company, I would imagine. What are the things we've learned in the past years? You already mentioned a couple of challenges they appear at Airbus, I can imagine. Yeah. How did we help them to solve these things?
Yeah. Let's start from the beginning, 10 years ago. And there it actually feeds back to my personal story of being an aerospace engineer. Those people, they have an issue, they have a challenge, and they want to solve it with technology. They give you the trust to solve it. And that's what Sensolus got. They came to us, we talked, we showed what we could do, they showed what they would need, and we worked together. So we started, people would call it supplier, I call it a partnership. They gave us the trust to bring also in an aerospace engineering mind a solution that helps them at that specific starting point.
That's
10
actually
years
a
ago.
crazy story, to be honest. You started with Airbus as one of the first clients with Sensolus, which back then you were growing as a company, but
Yeah.
from the start you already managed to
Yes, because
gain the trust.
first of all, we build a product with an aerospace engineering mindset,
Yeah.
reliability, security. It needs to be in there from the foundation. It's really crucial in everything we do.
Yeah.
We brought that to them and they realized that we are doing it with the same standards that they apply in their industry. And then, of course, you have your first little step. And I can guarantee you, everybody thought, and that's I can tell because it's a personal anecdote, it's, wow, you guys, you won Airbus, you can start with them. That was the moment I stopped sleeping. Because you know, you got to trust to build something where they will rely on a lot of their processes and actions. And then I piggyback on my experience as an aerospace engineer, and we put all force with very clear standards, let's build the best product that they need. And what they need was actually a very simple one challenge. And it all started with one clear challenge.
All right. What was then the starting point? How would you approach a project like this if we would start it today? Do you start from one specific use case and you build up on that, or you do?
So for them it was very simple. They had a lot of those assets, high value assets, big parts, throughout all the different countries, different subcontractors, different transport modes, and they want to have that, what we call over-the-top visibility. Okay. They want to know real time, where are those things? That's a very specific problem where you start with, and it came from the people from the ground. Okay. People there with shortage of labor, telling us, guys, we need that visibility. I have stress not finding those assets back. And that's exactly what we solved. A very clear, one problem, one clear solution, which is very reliable and secure data for them in the end.
How complex is it to start an asset tracking in aerospace? Is it a long cycle of getting started, or how fast can you spin up?
We had, of course, a solution in place.
Yeah.
But then you go in the ground with the people on the field. Then you get the real details of what they actually need for their processes because they know best. Let's be very open here. They are daily challenges. People in the field know best what can help them to be more efficient and more productive. And then, of course, you go step by step, and it's in your design philosophy, but it's also in your engineering methodology, how you take those steps, how you certify them, how you validate them, how you actually ramp it up, like they do with airplanes. And this trust we could win. So you go step by step, you make good engineering decisions, you validate, you test, you iterate. And like this, you progress, and then you grow with them in that process. And this is a very engineering mindset of building a product. But also what we found out, and I mentioned before the capacity issue, it's very harsh to ramp up fast capacity in such companies. And a simple example, if you have 24/7 assembly of airplanes, you cannot put a wire there. That's not possible. I mean, they're building airplanes. You cannot say, hey, move the airplane. I'm here to install the wire for my infrastructure. It doesn't work like this. So they also gave us those insights and they showed us that, hey guys, long battery life, no infrastructure, works over the top, no integration with IT, all those tips and tricks. It's actually because you work together in solving their challenges in the field.
Right, so ultralight infrastructure, I will call it, is a key. The plug-and-play solution mindset behind it.
Yes, because we had a champion. Champion team, they loved our technology, they tested everything, they validated, and then within the group, because groups are big in aerospace, and often they actually are mergers and acquisitions included. So you have different type of companies, but your champion team wants to promote to the other teams, hey, look, we solve this with this. But then if you come, but then you have to put infrastructure and it doesn't scale. It's not top of mind to put infrastructure. It's top of mind to solve the low-hanging fruit, to ramp up production without heavy capacity investments.
Which brought us today to 1 million connected assets.
Yeah,
If you can't
and not all in
scale them-
aerospace, not all in Airbus,
Yeah.
but it's a gradual process. And we started with the big ones.
Yeah.
But now it's also evolved because that trust factor is there. And now we also do tool tracking with them. We also have other projects coming up specific for in-flight tracking and so on. We go to different types of zones in the manufacturing, like the painting zones, which have more regulation and constraint. So it's a growing process where we are partner of them to resolve that.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Christophe. That was very insightful. Also to hear your personal story from aerospace. So also thank you for watching or listening on Spotify. On our website, there's a full knowledge hub where you can listen or read more about these topics. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and see you next time. Bye-bye.